Good morning, people. Welcome back to Daily Red Devil, and it is transfer deadline day. We've got an absolutely massive show for you guys this morning, but before we jump into that, please do smash a like on the video and please do subscribe to the channel if you are new. So, as I'm sure you can all imagine, a lot of the show will be focused around Amrabat. We've had so much news coming out overnight, which of course we will get into with you all. We'll also be talking about Donny and a potential move to Inter Milan, which is interesting. We'll also be talking, of course, about some people who have left the club in the last 24 hours. Dean Henderson, Mengi, a couple of others have gone as well. And we'll also be talking a bit more about this Scott McTominay deal because it looks like this one is picking up a bit of momentum. We will be touching on that in a minute. We'll also be talking a bit about Gravenberch. We'll be talking about some injuries. We've got all sorts to get into. As always, do get involved in the comment section. Do let me know how you're feeling about everything we discuss. Right, let's start off with what's concrete and what we know to just to get things started on the show this morning. So we can now confirm from David Ornstein that Reguilón has now completed his medical at Manchester United ahead of a loan move. Now, I know some of you are quite critical about this, but now that I've found out what the actual deal involves, I think it's a good decision. So listen to this. He says the 26-year-old is joining on a season-long loan with a break clause in January. So that means that Manchester United can send him back to Tottenham in January, which is good. But remember, Chelsea were not willing to do that for Cucurella. So that makes sense. He then goes on to say that there's no fee, so we're not having to pay Tottenham any money, and there's no option, there's no buy option, but Manchester United will cover his salary. So if you compare this with what Chelsea wanted for Cucurella, okay? They wanted us to cover all of his salary, which is about 10 million a year, and they wanted around £5 to £7 million as a loan fee. So it would have cost Manchester United approximately £17 million in order to sign Cucurella for a whole season when we only wanted him till January. Whereas this Reguilón deal, the worst case scenario, if we kept him for the whole season, would cost Manchester United £2.5 million because that's how much his salary is. So I get it. It does make sense. I know people are frustrated. I know people think we should have got Cucurella. But if I asked you, would you rather have Cucurella for 17 million and then probably not play him at all when Luke Shaw comes back after January? Or would you rather have Reguilón for 2.5 million and then in January you can send him back? I definitely send him back in January and then Luke Shaw's back fit. And then if you actually think about it, it's £2.5 million a year. So if we only keep him till January, it'll probably only cost us like £1 million. I think he's on about 40 grand a week. So if we can, I don't know how many weeks it is till January, maybe 20 weeks. So it makes sense. I get it. It probably cost us about £1 million to keep him till January versus £17 million to have Cucurella. So it's done now. It looks like this one will happen. It looks like he will be announced probably in the next hour or so, I reckon. Obviously, he's done his medical. That's been confirmed. And all Manchester United would do is cover his wages, and that's it. David Ornstein also goes on to say that the Amrabat deal is also on track, which we will touch on in a minute. We're going to spend a large portion of the show talking about Amrabat, but do let me know how you feel about this Reguilón deal. Do you think this is the right bit of business to do? Are you upset about it? Do you think we should have gone and got Cucurella, knowing that the finances involved in it? Just remember this, all right? If we don't get Amrabat, there's going to be absolute carnage because the narrative from Manchester United that they've put out to all of these journalists is that we went for Reguilón so we could get Amrabat. Okay, I've just explained the financial side of it to you. It does make sense. We're saving about £16 million from getting Reguilón instead of Cucurella. If they now don't go and get Amrabat, that is an absolute disgrace. It really is. And you would even say they should be looking to sign someone else as well, because we will talk about the breakdown of the deal for Amrabat in a minute. We have had some clarity on that, but we're not buying him up outright. It's going to be a loan with some weird deal going on. So, yeah, we definitely do have money. So, yeah, we will touch on that in a minute. But let me know your thoughts on Reguilón. Do you think he'll be, a good addition to the squad? You know what? I think him at left back is probably better than Dalot at left back. I like Dalot at right back, but I don't think Dalot's that good at left back personally. I don't think he seems as comfortable. Obviously, he can play there, but it's not his natural position, is it? So we are bringing in a proper left back. I know people say, oh, he's a Tottenham reject. He only played 12 games for Atletico Madrid last season and all the rest of it. But anyway, we are where we are, and let's just move on positively. Now, this bit I think you will like. So there's a story coming out from Sky Sports this morning saying that Manchester United will look to make 3 signings on deadline day. Now, I want you to get in the comment section and let me know who you think those 3 signings will be. I'll obviously give you my opinion in a minute, but let me know your thoughts on who the 3 signings Manchester United will make today. This is coming out from Sky Sports, by the way, this morning. So let me know your thoughts on those 3 signings. Right, quickly, let's just rattle through a few people who have left just so we can get up to speed with what's going on. So obviously Dean Henderson has now confirmed his move to Crystal Palace. The deal is worth £20 million, including add-ons. Now, there's a little bit of a twist in this story, right? apparently Samuel Luckhurst and a couple of other journalists have come out since this story was broken that he's gone, right? And apparently Nottingham Forest earlier on in the transfer window were offering £30 million for Dean Henderson. But for some reason, I guess it was because of the David De Gea situation, Manchester United didn't do the deal. He says, despite Nottingham Forest looking to pay £30 million for Dean Henderson is now signed for Crystal Palace for £20 million. It goes on to say that Henderson's fee is rising to £20 million. However, Henderson was under the impression it would be a minimum of £20 million. I mean, why does Henderson care how much he's been sold for? That's kind of weird. And then he goes on to say that Forest had been looking to sign him for £30 million earlier on in the window. Another mistake banked by Manchester United. Needs must as they balance the books after spending £410 million in the last year. So a little bit strange. Obviously, we've been told for weeks, haven't we, that the reason that Dean Henderson didn't go earlier on in the window was because they didn't know what was going on with David De Gea. And to now be told that there was a £30 million offer on the table, but we ultimately didn't know what was going on with the goalkeeper position. We're talking about a month or two ago here, by the way. We're not talking like last week. We're talking before we signed Onana, when we didn't know if De Gea was staying, when we didn't know if he was getting a new contract, when it was a complete mess. There was apparently a £30 million offer on the table from Forest, which Manchester United must have said, oh no, we need to wait. We need to see if David De Gea goes, and then they must have been put off. So yeah, a bit of a joke really, but it is what it is, isn't it? 20 million. Obviously, that's 100% profit because he's come through the youth academy. So that will really, really help our books. It will really help our financial fair play. Obviously, Dean Henderson is a boyhood Manchester United fan. You've got to remember that. I know he's annoyed the fans. I know he's fallen out with all of us. But let's try and forgive. Let's hope that he goes there and does well. I mean, Crystal Palace aren't a rival to us, are they? So it's not like he's just gone and joined Arsenal and we're all like hoping he fails. He's gone to Crystal Palace. It's a step down from Manchester United. So hopefully he goes there and has a good career. And I'm definitely glad he's gone because I do think he was a negative presence around the club personally. But let me know how you feel about the Dean Henderson £20 million deal. Do you think it's a good price? Do you think we should be getting more? The one thing I do want you to consider when you're getting your comments in is his wages. Dean Henderson was earning £5.5 million per year, which is absolutely ridiculous. He was on 120 grand a week. So we've just removed another £5.5 million off the wage bill. So that's a massive positive when you look at it like that. I think he had 2 years left on his deal. So if he'd have just stayed as the backup goalkeeper, we would have paid him £10 million to sit on the bench over the next 2 seasons. So when you look at it like that, I get why the fee isn't huge, because he's going to expect the same sort of fee at Crystal Palace. So it is what it is. It's just another prime example of why Manchester United shouldn't be handing out these stupid contracts. But it is what it is, isn't it? We've just got to move on. We've got to hope that we learn and hope that we move on positively going forward. I just wanted to mention something really, really quickly, actually. I know there's a lot of excitement around transfer deadline day, but I just wanted to give this a plug. So anybody who's in Manchester or in the surrounding areas today, the 1958 group have organised a protest today. So if you are in Manchester, there's a peaceful protest going on outside Old Trafford today at 6 p.m. And the 1958 group have said the following: this is not about flashy new signs. This is about a steady, systematic dismantling of fans' expectations and standards over a generation to feed the Glazers' greed. So they will be protesting outside Old Trafford 6 o'clock today. If anybody is in the Manchester area, obviously do go down and get involved. Obviously it is a peaceful protest, obviously protesting against the Glazers. So big ups to the 1958 group for organising that. Obviously I'm happy to plug stuff like this on the show whenever. Really, really good that they're doing things like this. So fair play to them for organising that. Hopefully it gets lots of coverage on Sky Sports, because on transfer deadline day, all of the big platforms, Sky, whatever, will have a journalist who's kind of outside each of the stadiums to do reactionary clips. So say if Amrabat signs, they'll have one of the Sky Sports journalists stood outside Old Trafford. So hopefully this gets lots of coverage. Hopefully it gets lots of coverage, but we'll wait and see. What have we got? Right, let's crack on with the rest of the news, though. So let's talk about this Fofana story. I'm going to leave the Amrabat bit till the end, because I think people are sick of Amrabat, aren't they? So let's do all of the other news first, and then we can talk about Amrabat at the end of the show, because I just think it's getting a bit boring now. So there's a story coming out from Fabrizio Romano, which came as a little bit of a shock. Fabrizio has said that Manchester United approached Monaco for a loan deal with a buy clause for French midfielder Youssouf Fofana. Now, he is somebody I really, really like. He is a quality player. He goes on to say, however, Monaco have rejected the approach as they don't want to let Fofana leave on loan. So it does look like there was other options out there other than Sofian Amrabat, and one of them was Fofana. I think he would have been a quality signing. I don't know who I would have preferred between the two. I think both of them are good players. I probably would say that I'd prefer Amrabat personally. But yeah, let me know in the comment section what you think of Youssouf Fofana from Monaco. Obviously, he's a lot younger than Amrabat. He's only just turned 24. Amrabat's just turned 27. He maybe isn't quite at the same point in his career as Amrabat yet, but he is a French international and all the rest of it. He is somebody of a very similar profile. He's a centre midfielder / CDM, very physical. He's relatively fast, very good at defending. But yeah, this deal will not be happening, but Manchester United have apparently approached Monaco and the offer was rejected. So this came out quite late last night. So I assume that maybe Manchester United were looking at alternative options in case, in case that the Amrabat deal fell through. Now, I want to touch on the Scott McTominay deal a little bit really quickly because there is a big update on that and it's absolutely massive. It is. Now, we spoke about this on the show last night about the potential of Fulham signing Scott McTominay, which I know caused a lot of excitement within the fan base. There is a twist. Obviously, it relied on Paulinho going to Bayern Munich. And we can confirm this morning, this is coming out from Plettigol, obviously over in Germany, Sky Sports Germany journalist, saying that this was literally in the last 10 minutes. He says, João Paulinho, I understand that he has now been given the green light to fly to Munich this morning for his medical... to fly to Munich. Let me read that bit again. João Paulinho, I understand he has received the permission to fly to Munich this morning. It's the green light for the flight. Obviously, he's German, so the translation's is not easy, when you translate it. He then goes, there isn't the green light for the medical yet, as more details have to be clarified and a replacement for Fulham has to be sorted. But Paulinho is flying to Monaco ahead of a potential move to Bayern Munich. Now, you're probably thinking, why are we talking about this? The relevance to this is, as Florian Pletterberg says, Fulham need to find a replacement. Obviously, Fulham put in a bid last night for 30 million euros for Amrabat, which was apparently accepted by Fiorentina, but Amrabat won't move to Fulham. He only wants to join Manchester United. He doesn't want to join anyone else. And there's a story even coming out this morning that he would rather stay at Fiorentina than go anywhere else. He would rather stay at Fiorentina for the rest of the season or go to Manchester United. It's one or the other. So when we're looking at options now for Fulham, we know that they want Scott McTominay. We know that they want Amrabat. They're not going to get Amrabat. So Scott McTominay. Now, this is interesting. This comes out from... where is it? Right. This comes out from a journalist in the UK this morning, and they are reporting the following. If Manchester United sign Sofian Amrabat, Scott McTominay will be informed that there will be limited to no minutes for him this season, and it is very much open to departing. So I think there could be a real domino effect today. Obviously, if we sign Sofian Amrabat, Scott McTominay is, I don't want to say he's worthless because that's horrible, but he's not going to get any game time. He doesn't get any game time now, does he? He came on for about 5 minutes, I think. I think he's played 5 minutes of Premier League football since the season started. He clearly isn't fancied by Erik ten Hag. As soon as Kobbie Mainoo comes back, he's going to be ahead of him. So for me, if Amrabat comes in, get rid of McTominay, 110%. Especially if Bayern are going to offer, I think it's £50 million they've offered for Paulinho. You just say to Fulham, well, we want £50 million. I know this is obviously ridiculous, but it's deadline day. Fulham need a replacement. If they want Scott McTominay, we should be squeezing as much money as possible out of them. If we know that they've just got 50 million for Gravenberch, for Paulinho, then we should be trying to get that. We should. But let me know what your thoughts are on this one. Do you think this Scott McTominay deal can happen? I have a feeling it will. I think there's going to be a funny twist today, and I think that it will be Scott McTominay going to Fulham, because as this person says this morning, he's going to be told that he's surplus to requirements. If Sofian Amrabat comes in, he's going to be told he gets no game time. Remember that Scott McTominay is a full international player, okay? He's going to be thinking about those Euros. If he doesn't play any football at all for Manchester United this season, do you think he'll be in the Scotland squad? Maybe, possibly. Obviously, Maguire's in the England squad. But still, I think Scott McTominay, he's 26. He's a lot younger than Harry Maguire. I honestly think this one can happen. I think this is one to keep an eye on throughout the day. Obviously, we will be live if anything breaks. And the really, really positive thing for Scott McTominay from a Manchester United selling perspective is his wages. Now, I know I bang on about wages a lot, and I think some people don't really understand the relevance of it. But the reason I talk so much about wages is clubs like Fulham, right, weren't gonna ever buy Fred, because Fred was on 120 grand a week, and he would have been their most expensive player. Whereas Scott McTominay is only on £60,000 a week, which would not break Fulham's current wage bracket. So it's a deal that's likely to happen. Whereas, you know, people say, get Harry Maguire out of my club, get him out. It's like, I get it, you're upset, but Harry Maguire's on £200,000 a week. Nobody in the Premier League, other than maybe Chelsea, Manchester City, Arsenal, would ever pay that type of money for a player, and they're never going to pay it for Harry Maguire. Whereas Scott McTominay, I know he's not the best player in the world, but 26 years of age, he's on £60,000 a week, so he could easily go to Fulham and be paid 70 grand a week, and that wouldn't even break their wage, you know, their wage bracket whatsoever. So that's why I think this is an interesting one and one to keep an eye on throughout the rest of today. I'm just having a quick look now. So Fulham's highest earning player at the moment is on 100 grand a week. So even if they gave him 60 grand a week, he would still be being paid less than their highest earner. So I think this is one that can definitely happen. Yeah, but let me know what your thoughts are on Scott McTominay. How much do you think would be a fair price for Scott McTominay on deadline day? And do you think this deal will happen? I think it will happen if Amrabat comes to Manchester United, because I don't see who else Fulham are going to get this late in the window. They wanted Amrabat, they didn't get him. They want Scott McTominay, and there's a desire from Manchester United to sell Scott McTominay. We know that. We know that Manchester United will accept an offer for McTominay if it's for the right price. The right price is believed to be somewhere around £40 million. Paulinho, £50 million to Bayern. It makes sense. Let me know what everybody thinks. We've got over 2,000 people watching the show today, guys, which I think is a record for the channel. So massive shouts to everybody. Please do smash a like on the video. Please do subscribe to the channel if you are new. We are only 9 subscribers away from 17,000. So please do go and subscribe if you haven't already. Yeah, I'd really appreciate it. Somebody says, do you see us signing a centre forward? You know what? I think there is going to be a funny twist today, and I think we will try and go for an attacker on loan. There was a story coming out a couple of days ago. I think it was from Simon Jones, who's a UK journalist, saying that Manchester United are apparently looking for a loan deal for an attacking player. Obviously, Erik ten Hag was promised Mason Greenwood. Richard Arnold even told all of the the backroom staff that Mason Greenwood was coming back. That got leaked, and then Mason Greenwood didn't come back. So the general gist of it is Manchester United need an attacking player. Mason Greenwood was meant to be coming back to the team, and we don't have him. So if I'm Erik ten Hag, I'm sat there saying, fine, you've made your decision about Mason Greenwood. That's up to you. That's not my, it's your decision to make. But I still need an attacking player. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we try and do a last-minute loan deal for an attacker. I think my understanding is that they have to have signed the contract by 11 p.m. today, okay? They can still do their medicals tomorrow and the next day. I need to double and triple check that, but I'm pretty sure that's how it works. As long as the paperwork's signed and there's a clause in it that it will be activated subject to a medical being passed, I think that as long as it's before 11 p.m. they can do that deal. But yeah, let me know what you think about that one. And who would be attacker B? Who do you think is a realistic option in the attack position? Somebody says Marquis signing incoming. Yeah, maybe a Marquis signing. I don't know. I don't think we'll get a Marquis signing this late in the window. Somebody says the volume is really quiet. Is the volume all right? Let me know in the comment section. I mean, no one's ever said anything about the volume before, but let me know in the comments, guys. Is the volume all right? And I'll try and turn it up a bit. So there is a bit of breaking news that apparently Lazio are interested in signing Mason Greenwood. This is coming out. It says Maurizio Sarri is yet to express his views in relation to signing Mason Greenwood. It is more of just a suggestion at this point. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on with Mason. I assume they'll just have to. To release him from his contract, because I don't see any other way of how we'd get rid of him this close to the end of the window. There's a bit more information here coming out about Scott McTominay as well. It says Fulham, who hold interest in Scott McTominay, want to secure a replacement for João Paulinho before letting him go to Bayern Munich. So this deal could pick up momentum really quickly. I honestly think that this is one to watch over the next day. So yeah, Fabrizio's just come out about this story as well. He says, Lazio have been offered the possibility to sign Mason Greenwood from Manchester United in the final hours of the transfer window, but no decision has been made as of yet. So that's another one to keep an eye on. Mason Greenwood to Lazio. Obviously, we will wait and see what happens with that. I would be quite surprised if he went to Lazio, because all summer we've heard that he doesn't want to relocate. He doesn't want to go to... obviously, he's just had a kid. Obviously not him literally, he hasn't had the kid, but you know what I mean. He's just become a father. So does he really want to relocate to a new country with a newborn child? I mean, I don't know. Maybe he does. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, if he goes to Lazio, that would be a good move for him. I think that would definitely reignite his career. He'd have a fresh start. I don't think the press would be on his back as much in Italy, because obviously he's if he's in England, it would have been horrible, wouldn't it, for him? So yeah, hopefully that happens for him. We will keep you updated on that, and let me know what you think about that one. Somebody says, is Mason Greenwood a free agent? No. So just to be very, very clear with the Mason Greenwood situation, we are still paying Mason Greenwood's wages. We've paid him throughout the whole of this process. So anybody who thinks that Mason Greenwood's been done wrong, that's up to you. But he has been compensated. He has earned all of his salary across this whole process. So he's still a Manchester United player, is my point. He's not a free agent. He's been earning £75,000 a week for the last, how long has it been going on for? A year and a half. So Manchester United could either agree to mutually terminate his contract, which is an option, or they would ask for a transfer fee, or it could be a loan. There are 2 or 3 different options here. I think the best one would probably be to mutually terminate his contract, let him go for free. Obviously, Lazio then pay his wages. If we could get any money for him, then great. But do you really think Lazio would pay a transfer fee for somebody who hasn't played professional football for over a year? I think that would be a bit of a risk. So I don't think we'll get a fee. Maybe there'll be a loan with an option to buy, or we'll have to wait and see. But hopefully that happens for him. Hopefully he just can get out of the club and and just start fresh, because yeah, I think that would be the best move for everybody. Right, let's move on to the next bit of the show, though. Let's talk a little bit about Donny van der Beek. Now, this one caught me by surprise this morning. This is coming out from Damasio, who's obviously an Italian journalist, reporting that Donny van der Beek has been offered to Inter Milan. And it looks like that is one to keep an eye on across transfer deadline day. Donny to Inter, that would be an incredible move for him. Obviously, they were Champions League finalists last season, in the Champions League again this season. If he got a move to Inter Milan, that would be really, really good. He's gone from FC Lorient in the French league, and I'm going to be honest, I don't know a single player who plays for them. Call me whatever you want, but I don't know any FC Lorient players personally. Going from that to Inter Milan, that is a massive, massive club to move to. So hopefully Donny gets his move. Inter Milan, we don't know at this stage whether it will be a loan, whether it will be a permanent transfer. My guess is it will probably be a loan, because I can't see anybody paying massive fees for Donny van der Beek this late in the window. But let me know what you think about that one. Do you think Donny to Inter Milan would be a good bit of business for everybody? I think it would be, personally. So yeah, hopefully that happens for him. Again, I wish him all the best. He was such a good player before he came to Manchester United, and yeah, his career has been ruined, hasn't it? Ollie bought him and didn't play him, and then he got injured, and then that's pretty much his Manchester United career. So hopefully he goes, hopefully he gets a new start, and I wish him all the best. But yeah, let's move on to the next story. We've got over 2,300 people watching now, which is a record for the channel. So big ups to every single one of you. Please do smash a like on the video, and please do subscribe to the channel if you are new here today. We've just hit 17k subscribers, which is incredible. Thank you so much to everybody. Please do go and subscribe if you haven't already. We only started the channel 12 weeks ago, so yeah, the growth of the channel, of this community, has been incredible. So massive shouts to every single one of you. Right, let's crack on with the rest of the show, though. Now, this is a player who I know a lot of you really, really wanted, Ryan Gravenberch. Apparently, he is on the brink of joining Liverpool for 45 million euros. Now, I want to throw a little plot twist out there. Is there any potential? This is just my opinion. I'm asking you a question here. Scott McTominay goes to Fulham, £40 million. And Manchester United try and hijack the Gravenberch bid. It might be too late. It might be that the Gravenberch deal is too far down the line for that to happen, but it is a possibility, isn't it? It is a slim possibility. We know that Gravenberch wanted to come to Manchester United. We know that he wanted to reunite with Erik ten Hag. Although I'm just reading now in the last 10 minutes that apparently Gravenberch is on Merseyside about to undergo his medical at Liverpool. So unless something absolutely crazy happens, unless he does his medical and then Manchester United come knocking and say, come and do a medical for us. I mean, that does happen in football. It's happened before, hasn't it? A player will do a medical with the club, and then 10 minutes later they leave the training ground and go and do a medical and sign for someone else. I don't think that the Scott McTominay deal would happen fast enough for this to happen, but yeah, I don't think so. Are you upset about Gravenberch not coming to Manchester United? Do you think that's a big miss, going to our biggest rival? I'm not sure. I don't know. I think I said from the beginning I would prefer Amrabat over Gravenberch. I think obviously Gravenberch has a lot more potential. He could go on to be a world-class player, but he hasn't played any football for the last season. He's been on the bench. His stock price is at rock bottom at this moment in time. So for me, I'm not really upset about Gravenberch. Go to Liverpool. I hope he fails. But yeah, let me know what you think about Gravenberch. Are you upset about it? Do you think we should have signed him? Yeah. Right, let's move on to the next story though. Let's keep things moving on the show this morning. Obviously, there's so much to get into because it is transfer deadline day. And thank you so much for spending this morning's of the day with me. Now, moving away from transfers just for one tiny little minute. Manchester United, new number 17 is Garnacho. We were wondering for weeks and weeks and weeks who the new number 17 will be. And it looks like it will be Garnacho. So he has put up a post on his Instagram holding the number 17 shirt. Yeah, I'm happy about that for him. I am. Obviously, I know a lot of you wanted him to get the number 7. I know that was what was being talked about throughout the summer. That went to Mason Mount. I know a lot of you were a bit upset about that, saying Mason shouldn't be the number 7. He's not, you know, he's not number 7 quality and all the rest of it. Let's not make a judgment on that just yet. Let's wait at least until 1 or 2 seasons before we start slagging off Mason Mount. That's not something I'm going to do on this channel, by the way. I'm not going to be, you know, going on witch hunts for players. I'll give my opinion that I didn't think we needed Mason Mount, but I'm not going to be slating off his performances until he's had like at least a whole season or 2 seasons before we can really judge him. So I'm not after 2 games going to be saying get Mason Mount out of my club. But yeah, let me know what you think about that one. Number 17 is Garnacho's new shirt number. Let's circle back to transfer stuff though, because I know that is what all of you guys are here for. There's a story coming out this morning from a journalist in the UK saying that Manchester United have made contact again for Jean-Claire Todibo in case they decide to go into the market for a centre-back following Varane's injury. So just to be clear, Varane is out for 4 to 6 weeks. The story then goes on to say that United would offer Todibo a 5-year deal with around £100,000 a month salary and a £3 million signing bonus. Now, I don't really see how we're going to get the funds to buy Jean-Claire Todibo if we're having to scrape around the back of the sofa to get the money to do a loan for Amrabat. It's a little bit confusing. I'm all for it though. If they can scrape around the back of that sofa and find a couple more pounds to buy Jean-Claire Todibo, then they better start looking now, because how much is Jean-Claire Todibo going to cost? 30 million? Obviously, if Scott McTominay goes, maybe that opens the door for it. Yeah, I think there is a lot of things that can happen today. It just depends whether Manchester United are competent enough, which we know they're not, and can act fast enough to get deals done, which we know they can't, because that poor outside BAYINDR, right, the goalkeeper that looks set to be signing, he did his medical last Friday and they still haven't announced him as a player. I mean, what the hell is going on? It's crazy, isn't it? But yeah, let me know what you think about that one. Would you try and get Jean-Claire Todibo on deadline day, maybe with a loan with an obligation to buy? Is that something you would do? Are you worried about the centre-back position at Manchester United? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Right, just a quick one, a really quick one on another player who's left the club. Teden Mengi, who is obviously a youth player. He's come from, I think he joined when he was about age 7. He has officially left Manchester United and joined Luton Town on loan on a permanent transfer, just to be clear. The story goes on to say that there are achievable add-ons and a high percentage sell-on clause included in Mengi's transfer to Luton Town. Now, he is somebody that was really, really tipped to break into the first team in like the next 2 to 5 years. I think he had a really bad injury, and since then he hasn't really come back to where he was before. Obviously, I wish him all the best. It is a bit sad that we've lost so many youth players this summer. You know, you think of Zidane Iqbal, you think of Mengi. It looks like, what's he called? Marc Girardo is going to go. It looks like Alvaro Fernandez is going to go. There's quite a few of the youth people going. We spoke about this at length on the show yesterday, and I don't really understand what's going on with the youth at the moment. I trust Erik ten Hag. If he doesn't think they're good enough and he thinks that we should be cashing in, then okay. But if we're having to sell these players to actually raise funds, that is a disgrace. You know, selling Zidane Iqbal for £800,000, selling Noam Emmerich for £800,000. Like, if that's the money that we're having to use to sort out our financial fair play issues, then that is really, really poor, isn't it? But anyway, let's just say I wish Mengi all the best. I hope he goes to Luton Town. I hope he has a really, really good career there. Obviously, he's been here since he was 7 years old, everyone. So yeah, big ups to him. It is an undisclosed fee, so we don't know how much we've got for him. Matt says, where is Tuanzebe? Tuanzebe's gone, mate. So Tuanzebe was released as a free agent. Phil Jones was released as a free agent. I can run through really, really quickly for anybody who wants. I made a spreadsheet the other day of all the people who've left. So I'll run through it with you really, really quickly. So this transfer window so far, Fred's gone for 8.5 million, Henderson 15 million, Elanga 15 million, Jones is a free agent, Tuanzebe is a free agent, De Gea is a free agent, Matis Kovar 5.1 million, Noam Emmerich 800,000, Zidane Iqbal 850,000, and Alex Telles £4 million. So up to this point today, All of those fees don't include add-ons, by the way. Manchester United have raised £49.3 million in transfer from the outgoings. By way of ingoings, we've spent 162. Our current net spend as of today, not including add-ons, is £113 million. Obviously, that doesn't include Amrabat. That doesn't include any of the other potential deals that might happen. But the interesting thing here is our wages. We've removed £68.4 million in wages. So we've done quite good in that front. But the outgoings to have sold, I mean, we've got rid of 10 players and only raised £49 million. Like, it's not great, is it? But yeah, let me know what you think about all of that. I hope some of you find it interesting. Apologies if you don't care about the financial stuff. I just find it interesting, and I like to try and stay on top of it, because you just can't trust the Glazers, and the only way I can know for certain whether stuff is actually happening is if I work it out myself. So I calculate it all. But yeah, let me know what you think. Eric Bailly is another one. Like, what the hell is going on with Eric Bailly? I've literally heard nothing about him. Not a single story. Okay, so there's some breaking news on the Greenwood situation. Damasio's just reporting that in the night, contacts were made between Lazio and Manchester United attempting to get Mason Greenwood. So it does look like this one is picking up momentum. Mason Greenwood to Lazio. It says that they're still waiting for the manager, Sarri, to give the green light, but the club are pushing for a move, as in Lazio are pushing for a move of Greenwood. Honestly, I have no idea whether there'll be a fee or not. We'll have to wait and see on that one, but it does look like Mason Greenwood will probably be going at some point in the next kind of 24 to 48 hours. So we'll have to keep an eye on that one. We will keep you updated. Right, let me just check if we've gone through everything. So we've talked about Gravenberch. We've talked about Reguilon. We've got a bit of an update on Luke Shaw's injury for you, actually, really, really quickly. So let's touch on that. So the story coming out this morning says that apparently Luke Shaw is set to be sidelined for 10 weeks with a muscular injury. So that would be, let me do a quick calculation for you, 10 weeks from today. So Luke Shaw will be back about mid-November, which, you know what, makes a lot of sense with the Reguilon deal. Remember, as I said earlier on in the show, we have a break clause in the Reguilon contract which allows us to send him back to Tottenham in January. So Luke Shaw's back in November. Reguilon can go back to Tottenham in January. So it makes a lot of sense, it does. I don't really have any issue with this Reguilon deal anymore. I don't. Like, Matt's asking about Alvaro Fernandez. Alvaro Fernandez, I think, is leaving on loan. Let me just double check that for you. Ooh. Right, yeah, Alvaro Fernandez. Yeah, it looks like Alvaro Fernandez is going to go to La Liga on loan. We're not sure at this point which club it will be, but that's what's being discussed at this moment in time. And I will keep you updated. Hendrik says, how much did we get for Mengi? We don't actually know at this point, guys. The Mengi fee is undisclosed, so usually it will probably get leaked at some point by somebody. If you want my guess, it will probably be somewhere around £1 million. I can't see it being any more than that. But the key thing to that deal is there is a massive sell-on clause. There's, you know, all these bits added onto it. What have we got? Henrik says, why didn't we go in for Ndidi as midfield backup, and how much is he going to Nottingham Forest? You know what? I think Ndidi was one of those players that we were linked to for so many years, weren't we? And I swear one season we were going to pay like £80 million for him. And then ever since then, he's just kind of gone downhill. So, you know what? I'm quite glad we didn't go for Ndidi personally. Yeah, I don't think so. I'm not that fussed about him. I think Amrabat's a better player. So, yeah, as long as we get Amrabat, I'm happy. Right, let's move on to Amrabat then. Obviously, I said I'd save this till the end of the show. We have got a Here We Go whilst we're live, everybody. But it's not for Amrabat. I'm sorry to bait you there. I didn't mean to do it. It wasn't intentional. Fabrizio Romano has just confirmed that Altay Bayindir to Manchester United is now a Here We Go. He says he will be the new backup option to replace Dean Henderson. Fenerbahce will receive around €6 million. So the first deal of the day has been done. I need like a bell or something, don't I, to ring when the deal gets done. We have a Here We Go. I know it's only a backup goalkeeper. I know most of you are at home probably saying, I literally don't care. Why is this guy celebrating a backup goalkeeper? But we haven't signed anybody for about a month, so I'm happy about it. £5 million. You got rid of Dean Henderson for 20. Can't really complain, can you? First signing of the day is done. Backup goalkeeper, Altay Bayindir. So that's one of the 3 signings. We've got 2 more signings to make today, guys. Who are the other 2 going to be? Let me know in the comment section. Let me just... How are you feeling about the backup goalkeeper, though? Has anybody in the chat watched him regularly? Let me know. I haven't, personally. Nathan says he's a top keeper. Yeah. I will watch it. I watched a couple of videos of him, like scout reports and stuff, and he looked good. He looked like he was good with his feet. He looked like he was good at distribution and all the rest of it. But yeah, I don't watch Turkish football every single week, so I'm not going to sit here and pretend I know him inside and out. But we have made our first signing of the window. It feels like that, doesn't it? It feels like it's the first signing of the window. We've made our first signing of the deadline day. Everybody smash a like on that for a live. Here we go, and please do subscribe to the channel as well. Stuart says Amrabat, Regulion, and the backup goalkeeper. Those are the three. You've hit the nail on the head there, Stuart. You've won the prize. I don't know what the prize is, but you have won it. Right, let's move on to Amrabat, though. Now, there's a lot of news to get into about Amrabat, so let's just jump straight into it. I'll try and give you it as simplified as possible because I don't want to keep you guys for too long. So, obviously, the Fulham offer was accepted, but Amrabat refused the move. That's the first bit of news, okay? Also, it's being said that Amrabat will either go to Manchester United or stay at Fiorentina. He's not going to go anywhere else. That's the second bit of news. It then goes on to say, Sofyan Amrabat will not be open to any other club until there is the possibility of fulfilling his dream of wearing the Manchester United shirt. I just want to say, right, if Amrabat comes to the club, I hope every one of you appreciates him, and I hope every one of you, if he has a bad game, gives him a chance, because he is literally begging to come to Manchester United. I've got a list, right? I put this together earlier, and you're probably going to think, why has this guy done this? But I put together a list of all of the clubs that that Amrabat has rejected this window. Okay, he's rejected Atletico Madrid, Galatasaray, clubs in Saudi. We're not sure which ones. Fulham, Liverpool, Nottingham Forest, West Ham, and Barcelona. He's rejected 6 or 7 clubs for Manchester United. Like, it's absolutely crazy, isn't it? It really, really is. Right, but yes. The bit that you will like is, I have the deal breakdown. This is what apparently the deal will be for Sofyan Amrabat. This is coming out from Graham Bailey, who reports for The Telegraph, I believe it is. Let me double check for you. I know people like to know exactly where the sources come from. Graham Bailey reports for... Yeah, okay, cool. So he says the potential deal for Sofyan Amrabat could be a loan with an obligation to buy. United would pay a £5 million loan fee now, plus a further £20 million in 2024 when he joins permanently. Talks continue regarding the exact payment structure. So it looks like we will, as he says, have to give them some money up front, which is fair enough. And then there'll be an obligation to buy at the end of the season, which I have no issue with. I think that makes a lot of sense. Now, this is interesting. There is a person on Twitter, his name's Muppeteers. He gets some good information around the club, and he is saying that flights are scheduled from London to Florence. So we believe that John Murtagh and Richard Arnold will be flying to Florence this morning, and then there's a flight scheduled back to Manchester straight after. And you're probably thinking, why the hell are you talking about this? But I then went and checked it myself. I went on Flight Tracker and checked, and there is a private jet set to leave London this morning to Florence, and then I think it's about an hour afterwards it's going to then fly back from Florence to Manchester. So the flight has already been booked, and apparently Sofyan Amrabat will become a new Manchester United player. His medical is scheduled for tomorrow. This is today. So yeah, it looks like this one will happen, I think. I would be very, very surprised. I don't want to jinx it, but I would be shocked if we don't get Sofyan Amrabat now. I really, really would. It would be an absolute disgrace. It would. He's rejected Fulham. He's not going to go there. David Ornstein has just said the following as well. He says that the Sofyan Amrabat deal to Manchester United is on track. There is now confidence that he will sign for Manchester United. So make of that what you will. Fabrizio has been saying for the whole transfer window that the deal is going to happen. Other journalists are now coming out saying that the deal is on track. There's confidence it's going to happen. I would say it's just a matter of when, not if. Obviously, we do only have we've only got about 12 hours to get it done. So they don't have much time, do they? Yeah, I'm going to read out a couple of your questions as well before the end of the show. So if you do have any questions, get them in the live chat now. Put the letter Q in front of your message, and I will read them out before the show ends. So do go and do that quickly now. Right, let's see what else we've got to cover really, really quickly before I read out some of your questions. And big ups to everybody in the chat today who's being super, super supportive. I really, really do appreciate you all. We've got over 2,700 people watching live today, which is For a channel with only 17,000 subscribers, that's what, nearly 20% of, you know, no, I don't know. Anyway, it's a lot of people. So massive shouts to all of you. Really, really do appreciate your support. Right, so we've gone through all of that. Right, one final thing before I read out some of your questions is about Malacia. Now, this is a bit of a mood dampener, so I kept it to the end. James Ducker, who obviously writes for The Telegraph in the UK, is reporting this morning that Tyrell Malacia is out of action for the foreseeable future with a knee problem. Now, I did a bit of digging into this, and apparently he's going to be out for some time, for around the same amount of time as Luke Shaw. Luke Shaw won't be back until November. So it looks like Malacia will be out for that amount of time as well, which is concerning. It really, really is. But I don't know. Somebody says, do you rate Malacia over Regulion? I'll be honest with you, mate. I don't know. I haven't really seen enough of Malacia, and I can't even remember seeing the last time I saw Sergio Regulion. So I would say they're probably on par with each other. But let me know in the comment section, who's better, Malacia or Regulion? Let me know your thoughts. I'm probably saying his name wrong as well, aren't I? What else have we got? Right, I'll read out a couple more questions quickly. Simon says, who do you think we're bringing in the last few windows? I think obviously we're going to get Amrabat. I think we'll get obviously Regulion. That deal's as good as done. We've just announced the signing of the goalkeeper. I think there's going to be one more signing. I think we're going to get one more loan signing. I have no idea who it is. I think it's going to completely catch us all by surprise. I think it'll be an attacker, because I think this Mason Greenwood to Lazio deal will pick up some momentum. I think it will end up happening, and then Manchester United will press the button on a new striker. Because the thing you have to remember is, right, obviously we might not get any transfer fee for Greenwood, but we will clear his wages. I think he's on 75 grand a week. So we could easily go and do a loan offer for somebody else around the 75 grand a week price. And there's plenty of strikers out there who are paid, you know, around that type of money. Apparently the Taremi deal has fallen through as well. So he's somebody that I would look at. I couldn't believe it, right? Taremi at Porto, his wages, like, where is it? They're literally like nothing. He's on £29,000 a week, Taremi. So that's just giving you a bit of an example of who could be an option. You get rid of Mason Greenwood to Porto, you clear his 75 grand a week wages, and then you do maybe a loan with an option to buy for Taremi. And Taremi's only paid 29 grand a week. So you actually would make money. You'd be saving approximately 40 grand a week if you let Mason Greenwood go to Lazio for free and then bring in Taremi on loan. So there is deals to be done there. We know that it looks like it's all loan options at the moment. That says, what's the status of a new winger / striker? What's the status of Marquis signing at the deadline day? I think Taremi, somebody's saying it's here we go to Porto, to AC Milan. I thought it fell through. Let me double check that for you. Yeah, the deal is off. It says there is an agreement between Porto and AC Milan for Taremi, but there is a lack of understanding between Taremi and Porto. The deal is off. So it looks like Taremi to AC Milan isn't going to happen. That opens the door. It does. I think they were only offering about 12 million euros and it got accepted. So we'll have to wait and see what happens with that one. So people saying he's gone to AC Milan. I'm literally reading a story here from 10 minutes ago saying the deal is off. Damasio says, end of negotiations for Taremi. He will remain in Portugal. That was literally 10 minutes ago from Damasio. So I think there is I think the deal's off, everyone. But yeah, we'll wait and see. Apparently the deal was worth 15 million euros originally. So maybe Manchester United try and hijack that. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see. Let's see if I've got any more questions to read out quickly. Ishmael says, Kieran, can we get more than 2 players on loan? I think it's 2 players per league. So we could get 2 Premier League players, 2 La Liga players, etc. That's my understanding of it. But I need to double check that one. Somebody says Amrabat to Fulham. Nah, Amrabat to Fulham. Fulham have been rejected by Amrabat. Another club that he's rejected. So yeah, that's not going to happen. There's a bit of breaking news on Regulion. Apparently Regulion has now signed his Manchester United contract. He says the final paperwork is now being completed before an official announcement later today. So that one's done. That's the second deal done. Regulion has signed his contract at Manchester United. We've just got to wait and see what happens with Amrabat and Scott McTominay. I think those are the 2 deals to watch today. I think Scott McTominay to Fulham, and I think Amrabat to Manchester United. Those are the ones to keep an eye on. Somebody says Joao Felix loan. I think Joao Felix is going to go to Barcelona, mate. I think I would love to see that Felix this late in the window. I think he'd be a solid option as, you know, a wild card marquee signing, but it's probably not going to happen, I don't think, mate. Right. I'm going to wrap the show up here, guys. Thank you so much to everybody for watching this morning. It's been an absolutely incredible show. We will, of course, go live whenever there's any breaking news today, so do make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell. Please do smash a like on the video on your way out, and I will catch you all later. Have a lovely morning, day, or evening wherever you are in the world. I'm sure we'll be speaking very, very soon because it is transfer deadline day. Smash a like, subscribe to the channel, and I'll speak to you all later.